Hello everyone, my name is Dave, partner. Welcome to your 7th CSS tutorial. Remember in the last tutorial we did this beautiful menu, and in this tutorial we'll try to do a drop down so that if a user selects this they can see more options. But before we do that, we'll see what a basic drop down looks like. Then from there we can work towards actually adding it to the menu. Alright, so let us quickly start up. Remember, we get to our beautiful folder here where we are creating our site, and then we right click and open it with our best editor. You could use any one, Notepad++, but then I'm using Code Lobster. And the first thing we'll create is the div. We'll create a div that will when we create a div, then we'll write something in that div, and initially we'll put other contents in that div, but initially the contents will be hidden. So when a user hovers over the content, it will be exposed. That's what we want to do. And some people might be surprised, but you can actually do this with CSS only. So we're going to use CSS to do it. Very beautiful, very cool. Like I told you in the beginning, I'll be teaching you only cool things in CSS. Alright, so we're there, ready to roll. So this is a menu. First of all, we'll do something. We'll do the div at the bottom. So you have the div, and we create another div inside it. We'll call it div. This is a second div where we can say hello world, I am hidden. Okay, so here we can give this guy a name. You can just choose any name. I just want to call mine drop down content. You can call yours anything, and the next one is the main div. You can call it anything at all, but I will just call mine drop down, just so I will be able to remember. Now in this drop down, let us just write something and say, I remember I told you in span, in HTML, you use span to put anything you want. It doesn't it's just a dummy container for putting anything. A dummy container. Okay, so we are good to go. We have this menu, and so we'll go to our CSS and style this. We'll go to our CSS and try to create styles for the drop down. So first of all, we create a style for this guy here, and that's where we'll start. Remember, in CSS, class is a dot, so we'll say dot drop down, and because it's a class we used, this guy here is a class. If it was a div, we'll just type hash. So we'll make the position to be relative. Then we make the display to be inline block. The next thing we will style is the second one, which is our drop down content. Or while we are doing it, let us quickly check here. I would like to bring this guy down and put a border around it so that we can see what's happening. So I'll just say, hey, get a border, 1 pixel solid, and just pick a color, and the color is gray, just so that we have a color. And I'll just put a BR tag here, so it comes to the bottom. So we refresh. Cool, somewhere here is okay. And as you can see, this guy is not hidden yet. It's still showing hello, I am hidden. It's actually the one inside this. Okay, so we style this one too. Drop down content. Say class drop down content, and here are the nice pictures you need to have. Let us create a background color, and give it any just a color. It works with just background too, but I just want to use a color, and give it any color at all that is different from what we have before, so we can know when we have changed. Alright, so strange color though. Then the next thing is we continue the styling. The first thing we want to add in the style is we'll make it hidden. To make it hidden, you just make the display none. If you want to hide anything in CSS with CSS, make sure that the display is none. Then we'll make the position absolute. Position absolute. If you ever make mistake in this CSS, you may want to cross check that you have not tampered with the color. So we'll give it a width. What's the minimum width it can be? Let's just say 150 pixels, so that it doesn't become empty. You know, if you don't give it a minimum width and there is nothing inside, it may reduce to the point that it becomes a single dot or a single line. So once even if it's empty, it should still be it should still be visible and a certain width. That's why we are adding a width, and we'll add other cool stuff, but let's just then we want to make sure that it's always at the top. This div should be at the top always. You know, what we have here, basically the display none has caused it to disappear, but then is it on top? The div in the middle, is it on top or at the back? This div here, this guy here, is it on top of this one or behind it? So we want to make sure that this guy here is always on top, so it will always be visible. So we add a Z index. We can just say 1 means be one layer above it. If we can use minus, which means go behind it, it will no longer be visible because it's inside and it's smaller. If we use minus, or if we use 1 or +1, then it's above. Then you can increase this number to 999. You can use 2. If you have a lot of stuff stacking up against each other, you can just keep increasing the number. Alright, so we'll still add some other cool features here, but this is basic. The next thing is we want to make sure that when someone hovers over this, when a mouse comes over this, the bottom div should show up. That is our next assignment, and so we'll just create an on hover. Remember, we used this some time ago. We just say, hey, drop down this drop down class if a mouse hovers over it, and this is what you will do to the drop down content. So the drop down contents display properties should change to block. You know, before it was hidden with none, but then now it's block. Block means it should occupy the whole width. Are we good to go? So let's check. We'll refresh, and guess what? Bang! Guess what? Bang! This is so beautiful. There are some other cool stuff we could do about it. For instance, since this guy is above, we could give it a shadow. You know, to give the impression that it's actually above. We could put a shadow around it. You could Google how to create shadows around divs or boxes in CSS, but then in this tutorial I'll type it out for you manually. Alright, so let's create a very funny shadow before we quickly close. So we'll come here to our drop down context and say, hey, box shadow, 0 pixels, 8 pixels, 16 pixels, 0 pixels. Like I told you, you don't have to actually memorize this. Just Google it and copy and paste. There's nothing to memorize there. Okay, this actually tells us the where you should put the shadow, the parts you should put the shadow, and then the color. Alright, let's go check. Is there another thing we should add? Let's check. Okay, yeah, we can just do some other stuff like padding 5 pixels all round. and probably whatever else. Okay, we're good to go. So we refresh. Everything looks normal till we hover. Bang! What do you think? Alright, see you in the next tutorial where we do a drop down for this menu and see how things roll out. So thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and always check out for more tutorials. Visit braintem.org to sign up and always get what you want. Thank you.